On Neil Bibby, to be followed by John Wilson. 6 minutes or thereby, please.
Thanks, Presiding Officer. I join members in welcoming the fuel poverty debate this afternoon. Fuel poverty continues to burden far too many households in my region and throughout Scotland. As we've heard this afternoon, the Scottish Government has made a crystal clear pledge to abolish fuel poverty by 2016. While I am sure this ambition is shared across the Chamber, it appears that we are not seeing sufficient progress to make this a reality. In fact, the most recent figures show that fuel poverty isn't being ended, it is actually increasing, and more people are struggling to pay their energy bills. We've heard a number of statistics this afternoon. It is extremely worrying that Energy Action Scotland estimate around 900,000, nearly 1 million households are affected by fuel poverty. This is not progress. More must be done, and the severity of the situation is clear. It is widely accepted that there are three main factors in creating fuel poverty: energy prices, household income and energy efficiencies in our homes. In terms of energy prices, many members this afternoon have quite rightly pointed to this as a significant contributing factor to increasing fuel poverty. Energy prices, already unacceptably high, continue to rise while incomes are stalling. Vulnerable customers in need of protection continue to be ripped off, while energy companies record huge profits. In November last year, Scottish Gas announced a 6% increase in energy prices. At the same time, its parent company, Centrica, posted profits of £1.4 billion. And Scottish Gas is not the only culprit. All of the major energy providers have announced price rises this winter for UK customers, ranging from 6% to 11%, introduced by the Big Six over the last few months. Citizens Advice Scotland, as we know, have backed this up in the survey, which has already been mentioned, showing energy bills have doubled in the last 8 years and they are set to increase further. I was speaking to a constituent in Paisley recently who was told he would have to pay £150, according to his postcode, to have a prepaid meter removed from his house. How can people struggling already to pay their energy bills in the first place be able to get out of this poverty trap if their costs and the postcode discrimination aren't addressed either? Energy giants shouldn't be able to get away with inflation-busting price rises when they are already making massive profits. There is no doubt the energy market is in need of overhaul, and what I want to see is vulnerable customers protected and savings being passed on to consumers. And I agree with my Labour MP colleagues at Westminster that we need to look at setting up a strengthened and new energy regulator. But we also need to look at new and innovative ways of helping people with their bills. The Labour Party has taken action and using positive steps in terms of launching a Switch Together campaign to drive down energy costs, through signing up thousands of people to collectively switch suppliers, forcing better deals. This is a practical suggestion which I hope local authorities, housing associations and the Scottish Government will look at and support. There is no doubt in the impact of hikes in energy prices on households across Scotland. However, the Scottish Government can do more to help the families that are being forced to choose between heating and eating. The Government cut spending 2 years ago on fuel poverty, and families are feeling the impact today. There are powers and resources at the Scottish Government's disposal that they must start using. There are powers and resources to improve the energy efficiency of our homes. For example, just yesterday in the budget, we argued that additional investment in housing would not only improve the number of warm and energy-efficient homes, but could provide an expanded retrofit programme to improve the energy efficiency of existing houses. This in turn can create jobs and apprenticeship opportunities, even more important because we know household income is a key part of fuel poverty too. Figures from the Department of Energy and Climate Change show that Scotland has a considerably higher proportion of households in fuel poverty than England. The Scottish Government needs to tell us how exactly they are going to address this. I know they have a desire to secure £200 million to invest tackling fuel poverty, but there is a number of questions, not just from me, but from organisations such as Energy Action Scotland, that need to be answered on that. I understand almost two-thirds of the required £200 million is outlined to come from the fuel companies, which has already been mentioned. Can I ask again how much of this has been delivered, and an assurance as to whether this money will be passed on to customers through their bills? We also need to support some of the local community groups which are working in this area. Last weekend, I took the opportunity to visit with my colleague Mary Fee MSP and Jim Sheridan MP a local energy action plan project in Bridgewere in Renfrewshire. LEAP provides free local services to communities in Renfrewshire. They help local residents save energy and money by providing free and impartial advice on insulation, draft-proofing, heating, grants and subsidies. It was great to meet some of the dedicated volunteers and see the positive work they are doing to reduce people's utility bills. This kind of initiative makes a real difference to local communities, and I would like to see the Scottish Government support more projects urgently like this be rolled out across Scotland, so households in my region and right across Scotland can benefit from the excellent services they provide. Presiding Officer, vulnerable and low-income families cannot wait years to get help to alleviate the misery of fuel poverty. But rather than seeing significant progress made, the number of houses in fuel poverty is actually on the increase. The Scottish Government pledge was to abolish fuel poverty in Scotland by 2016. There is no doubt rising energy prices make this more challenging a target, but ministers can and must do more. This is the least that families and households deserve.
Thanks.